Hello, my friends. Welcome to Mindfulness Meditation Monday. My name is Ellen Patrick, and I will be your guide. So I came on a little bit early today just to connect a little earlier. This month has been rather difficult for me personally, as my mom recently passed. And so I have a lot of business to take care of, and I'm doing a lot of flying back and forth to New York. So our time together is precious. So we are here today. There will not be a class on the upcoming Monday, but the following Monday there will be. So I'm happy to be with you here. Great. So also, just another aside, I have a little visitor in the room with me today, Shanti the Shih Tzu. So hopefully she will live up to her name, which means peace, during our meditation. So let's get prepared to meditate together. And I'm assuming at this point you've chosen your location, what room you're going to meditate in, whether you're going to sit on a chair or a couch or the floor. So bring yourself into that seat. And as I always like to start my meditations with a little ritual, and that is lighting a candle. So I've got my candle here. If you've got a candle to light with me, please do that. Otherwise, this candle that says meditate, this candle I am lighting will be for all of us. So may the lighting of this candle dispel the darkness in our minds and the minds of all beings. A simple little prayer to help illuminate our minds, with wisdom, discretion, discernment. So we are at the 5:30 mark, and let us begin. So today's practice is called the lake. And I'd like for you to consider a few things. First of all, in order to commit to a practice such as meditation, it's very helpful to know the why. And for our purposes, and I like to think of meditation as doing this for us, we're trying to turn down the volume on our mental suffering. Now, it would be nice if we could get rid of our mental suffering, but we do live in a very complicated, distracting world. So just to lower the volume on that suffering is going to make a huge difference. And the other thing I'd like you to consider is that we have an inner and an outer environment. So our outer environment consists of everything outside of our minds, outside of our bodies. And then the inner environment is the inner workings of the mind, for the most part, for the purposes of our meditation. With that being said, I'd like you to try and visualize a lake. Right? And the surface of the lake reflects what's going on in the outer environment. So if you're at a lake and it's windy, there'll be some ripples on the lake. If it's a calm day, the lake would be like glass. And of course, if it's stormy, if it's very windy, there might be some white caps on that lake. Right? So what you see on the surface of the lake is due to the outer environment. But if we take a look at the inner environment, that's what's going on below the surface. Below the surface of the lake is deep calm, stillness. There's probably fish doing the fish things, but it's calm. So no matter what's going on the surface, in the outer environment, we're able to maintain calm in the inner environment. And that's what I'd like to highlight for you today, is that ability to create a safe space, a haven, a sanctuary, right, where we can turn whenever that lake gets turbulent. whenever our outer world displays turbulence. So with that being said, I invite you to close your eyes. And as your eyes close, we're moving from our outer environment and we're pulling ourselves inwards, right? To tap into that calm that always lies beneath the surface. It just is a matter of being able to connect to that internal environment, that inner environment. So first start with feeling your body in your seat. Feel your pelvic bowl, but you're feeling it from the inside, right? So you're touching the surface of your seat. And you can actually visualize and create a lengthening of the spine, which helps us to open our heart centers. And when the heart is open, there's no fear as we go inwards. There's no resistance. So start to become aware of your breath, the rhythm of your inhale, the rhythm of your exhale. And it's sort of a gentle rocking motion. And you can almost visualize yourself below the surface, experiencing the gentle current that moves back and forth below the surface. So we inhale and we exhale. And this is where we go to anchor ourselves. To anchor ourselves to a sense of peace, to calm. And every once in a while, you may be distracted by what's going on the surface, what's going on in the outer environment. And when that happens, I invite you to draw yourselves back underneath, back into the interior environment, back to that place of calm, back to that gentle swaying of the inhale and the exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. And so as we sway with our breath and the current, what happens on the surface does not affect us. We've tapped into that peace. We've reduced our suffering. With each inhale and each exhale that we experience, that we witness, we create a stronger anchor for ourselves. We reaffirm that we can reduce our suffering, that we can be calm, regardless of what's happening on the surface, regardless of what's happening in the outer environment. it takes a little effort to keep reminding oneself to come back to the breath. But that is the practice. Noticing when we're distracted. Noticing when we tend to surface and get entangled in the extreme weather conditions. We dive back in. And we breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. Tapping into that peaceful place. Reconnecting. And I invite you to take a deep breath in, filling the heart center. And exhaling, bowing down to the wisdom that resides in that heart center. The wisdom that we are attempting to reawaken. And I thank you all so much for joining me on Mondays for a 10-minute community meditation. It's always my pleasure to sit with all of you. I thank you. I appreciate your patience as I get through the weather of the outer surface in my life. And if you need more meditation, you can turn to my YouTube page. There's plenty of meditations to help support you. Thank you again.